Hello, and I'm John Cole Morgan. I'm here to tell you about the amazing SewALong that we're doing on the 18th of April. Now, what is a SewALong, you're asking? What is a design roll SewALong? So some people may know this as a jelly roll race, and what we're doing is we're doing it with our product, the design rolls, and we are doing them our way. We're doing them slightly differently because what we've got is we've got a bundle, which is on your screen at the moment, for $49.97. We've got 3 different colorways of the same design. So we've got the sunset, we've got the azure, and we've got the berry. And I'll show you those later, but let me show you what the quilt looks like when it's finished. Now remember, each quilt will be slightly different. Reason being is where I've placed my yellow, you may have put your blue. I've got them going one way, you may do them a different way. I've kept them the whole length. The next one I make, I'm going to be doing them halves. So there are loads of different options, but I thought I'd show you first what it is that we've made. So this is the quilt. It's a very large quilt. It's 65 by 85 inches. And you can just see it is so beautifully done, in my opinion. And it just flows so well. And I'm going to flick this back. Oh, it almost worked. So you can see in the middle here, those big pink strips in the middle haven't been cut. Because the quilt is roughly 78 inches this way and 68 inches this way. The bits in the middle, you're going to have pieces that haven't been cut, which when I saw this when it was finished, I thought, oh, I'm going to cut my pieces in half. So that brings me to the next bit that I want to show you. What is it that you're going to be needing to buy? This is the geometric designs. I'm not going to show you the whole rolls. I'm just going to show you how it gradiates from a really lovely light to a really lovely dark. And you've got these beautiful geometric shapes. So you've got this in 3 different colorways, the same designs on the same different tones. So the first thing you're going to do is you need to be comfortable in the way you cut this. You can either use your rotary cutter or you can use a pair of scissors. That is your choice. I don't mind one way or the other, but I will show you what you're looking to have at the end. So because I'm trying to do a nice quick video for you, I'm going to cut this on with a rotary cutter, and you can see you can cut this how you feel comfortable. You've just got to make sure that you're doing it safely, that you're not harming yourself, and you're doing it without any damage. And lock your rotary cutter blade. You know, that's my top tip. Now, the thing that I get asked with this is, if you've got the white, what happens then? It doesn't matter because it's in your seam allowance. And if you go slightly over, it doesn't matter either because it'll be in your seam allowance. And if you just make sure that you do it consistently the whole way. So that's your first piece. And I'm just flipping that over to make my life a little easier. And you're just lining the ruler up. And you're trimming this off. Oh, now. I did a critical error there. I cut into my fabric. Now, you're going to do that. We all do it. It's the first time I've done it, but don't worry too much. All I would do is put a pin in that, because when you've got a pin in it, you know it's there. So when you get closer to it, you can then save that in your seam allowance. We all make mistakes, and I'm going to always show you how you fix them. And maybe that's a good way of showing you that cutting it by a pair of scissors is a lot easier, a lot more accurate, and you're less likely to make a mistake. But we all make mistakes, so I'll show you how you fix it when we get to that point. So you're going to cut all the white bits away, okay? And you've got your piece of fabric like that. So what I suggest we all do is we line these up from lightest to darkest. In all 3 of these colorways. You're going to cut them all into from lightest to darkest. Pile them up because you can see it goes from light to dark. From light to dark. And if we just pile them up, that this is your first, this one's your second one, that's your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, you get the idea. And you do that for all your fabrics. That's the nice way of doing it. So I've made this little error here. I've also decided that I'm not going to keep my strips being 55 inches wide. I'm going to cut them and make them smaller. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this bit off. So if you're going to do the same and you're going to cut these in half, you're then going to put these on top of each other and stack them accordingly. So you'll have 2 number 1s and you'll have 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s. Or you might just decide, I'm going to have some of these as halves, some of them as full. I'm going to have them all as full. I'm going to have them all as halves. That's your choice. You can do this however you like, and that's where the interest is going to come in everybody having totally different quilts. So once you've done that, you're then going to have all your strips together, and once you've decided how you're going to cut them and sew them, you then take them on the short edge and you're going to sew these 1/4 of an inch all the way along. So every single strip that you have, no matter how long it is, you just sew them along that line and go through your sewing machine 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way along, and you sew them so you're going to have a 1700 inch strip of fabric, which is 2.5 inches wide. And there is no rush on getting this done. Take your time. The SewALong that we're going to do is on the 18th of April. We haven't decided on the time yet, but I'm thinking around about 9:30. So all you have to do for the main part is sew those two together. If you want to get the bundle, you can see it on your screen at the moment. You can go on to www.sewingstreet.com, or you can call our call centre and ask them for the SewALong bundle. You're getting a £10 saving on this product by buying them all 3 together, and you're getting all 3 of these different design panels, strip panels together, and you just go and cut them all up and sew together like this. Now, if you want to sew along directly with me, what you're going to need to do is, once you've got your 1700 inch strip together, you're going to take them right sides together, and you're going to take raw edge to raw edge, because there'll only be 2 ends that aren't sewn together, and you're going to sew them in 1/4 of an inch down one side. Now that's your choice, whichever side you do it in, and you're going to sew just 1/4 of an inch all the way along. And then when you're done, you're going to fold them out like that. Obviously these colours will be different, so you're going to sew 1/4 of an inch down this side, and then you're going to fold them open, and when you get to the very end, you're just going to cut the end off and start again. So then that's your longest run. So when you're doing it and you're really tired and you're thinking, when will this end? Mine took about an hour. So just doing that first, but it's really laborious, but it is the longest one, hour and 10, and you just get all the way through it. And when you come to the end, if you've got turns or twirls and it's twisted, don't worry, that's absolutely fine. Just keep sewing as far as you can and then cut the end off and get rid of those twirls, and you'll end up with 2 strips sewn together that look like this. We're just going to imagine that they're 850 inches. And then if you want to sew along with me again, I'm then going to be sewing it again, folding that in half and sewing on there. So I'm going to have 4 strips together when I start sewing with you at 9:30 that morning. You don't have to get that far. If you could just then decide how you're going to lay them out, how long you're going to cut them, and sew them end to end, that'll be great. We just want you to have fun. Join us on Sewing Street TV live or on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch us on the Sewing Street page. And we're wanting people to be involved, so please, you can then send us pictures, messages, questions on the morning that we're doing it. And if we go a bit over, that'll be fine too. I'm really looking forward to hosting you for this SewALong, and thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.